Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets presented by Prize Picks right here on the Mayo Media Network. I'm your host, Chris Meaney. Thanks, as always, for taking the time to hang out. It is Game 3 this evening between the Montreal Canadiens and the Vegas Golden Knights. The series all knotted up at a game apiece thanks to a 3-2 victory for Montreal in Game 2. They got it to a very strong start, up 3-0. A couple late goals by Alex Pietrangelo to make the Canadiens sweat that out, but the series is tied. Game 3 this evening, 8 o'clock Eastern. Actually, yes, 8 o'clock Eastern, I believe, sometime this evening at the Bell Center. 3,500 fans at the Bell Center tonight. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I guarantee you it will be rocking. If you are just new to the show, welcome. We still got a few more episodes until that Stanley Cup is raised. Giving picks every day over at ftnbets.com. Round 3 has been kind to us. Round 2, not so much. Missing my guy Cam Stewart here and Matty Best, but I know you guys are with me here at heart. I actually reached out to Cam to see what his thoughts were. I don't think he got back to me. Maybe I'll double check the Twitter inbox on my way out here. Just always like to get Cam's thoughts. But if you are just new, welcome. You have a question, leave it there in the YouTube section. I'll circle back before puck drop. Something we talk about here off the top of every show is Prize Picks. There's a link inside the description of this video, a 100% first deposit match of up to $100. And I believe Prize Picks has been good. The promo code inside the description of this video as well, MMN for the Mayo Media Network. Make sure you're subscribed because you can mix and match across all the sports that you love over at prizepicks.com. You got Euro Cup happening. Of course, the U.S. Open happening this weekend. A handful of games around the diamond, NBA playoffs, and NHL playoffs. So for today, I'm just looking at shot props. Shot props have been good to us. The series has been super tight. There's not a lot of offense to be had on really either side. It's tough to trust any Canadiens line apart from line 2 offensively, and I'm not seeing Cole Caulfield. I'm not seeing Nick Suzuki. Tyler Toffoli's shot props at 2.5. I don't love his fantasy score. He would have to score a goal here. He does have points, I believe, in 8 straight games. The first time a Canadian has points in 8 straight games since the 93 season. You know what happened that year? It was Vinny Danfus, who had a pretty good playoff in 93. So for today, getting off track, because today is really just about the Vegas guys for the shot props. I don't know how you pass on Alex Pietrangelo sitting there at 3. Shea Theodore is sitting there at 2.5. Now the 4.5 for Pietrangelo is slightly high, but what he's doing, he probably gets there alone even if he doesn't get any points, because he's got 25 shot attempts, 14 shots, and 2 goals in this series. 2 games. He had 13 shot attempts and 7 shots in Game 1. Pointless. 12 shot attempts and 7 shots in Game 2. He had the 2 goals. He's got a league-high 113 shot attempts and 60 shots in these playoffs. He played a team-high 25 minutes in Game 1, team-high 28 minutes in Game 2. His 366 minutes here in the playoffs leads all skaters. 34 shots and 21 blocks over his last 7 games. That is absolutely crazy what this guy is doing. Like 60 combined hits and blocks over the last 7 games. It's pretty remarkable. He's all over the ice. He plays in all situations. He's shooting the puck with confidence. Vegas has 4 of their 6 goals have come from the point. 2 of them were just like carbon copies of each other, where they just have that set play. They win the draw, and they dish it over to Pietrangelo. He gets a shot on net. So he's joining the rush. He's playing with a lot of urgency. As for Shea Theodore, 12 shot attempts and 7 shots here in the series. He's been clearing 2.5 in this series. He had the goal in Game 1, I believe a goal and an assist. So he's in play for me at 2.5. If you want a third, I think Max Pacioretty brings it this evening. 15 shot attempts and 3 shots on goal here in 2 games. He really didn't do anything in Game 1. It was his line who just had 6 shot attempts and 3 shots. He only had 1 of them, but he had a monster Game 2 in terms of putting pucks towards the net. He hit the bar on one of those partial breakaways on Carey Price. So it's all shot attempts for me, and those are the guys: Pietrangelo, Theodore. You want a third? It would be Max Pacioretty. Check out prizepicks.com, and again, follow the link inside the description of this video for a 100% first deposit match of up to $100. Okay, so let's get after today. Vegas, I'm using FTM Bets, the parlay calculator, to get the best possible odds. Vegas, I'm seeing best case, if you want them, minus 158 on the money line here, and the Habs plus 140. The total is at 5. Over 5 is minus 133, and under 5 plus 120. Vegas puck line plus 180. Montreal puck line minus 200. So, as I mentioned, round 3 has been good. I don't even know. Can we count it? I think I believe we had the Islanders on the puck line and the under in game 1, and then Tampa in game 2, and then Tampa in game 3. At least that's the way it was over at ftmbets.com. I haven't been doing any of those shows. The guys are killing it. When they talk Islanders and Tampa, they've been killing it all year, man. Good dudes. But for today, it's hard to go like Habs puck line. I do see this as like a wild game. I feel like this is going to be a 4-3 game, a 5-4 game. Maybe 5-4 is a bit of a stretch. I'm leaning with the over 5. I think there'll be 5 goals here scored in this game. The biggest thing in this series is the starts, and it's not just in this series for either team. Montreal has started this way all year long in the playoffs. I mean, they won 7 straight. They've won 8 of 9. They've scored first in 8 of those 9. They had the lead basically they hadn't trailed in 7 straight games until they played Vegas in game 1, and then they started the same way. Game 2 is a lot like how they just played here in the playoffs. I believe I said before game 2 that I was optimistic about this squad, the way that they played in the first period. I thought they could take something away from that game, that they could skate with them and that they could play with them. Vegas has started slow here in all 3 rounds. Not just in this series, but in Colorado, they got off to slow starts. There was a few games where the Avs scored in the first minute. They were able to generate some offense in the second half of the game, and that's exactly what we've seen here. So let's get into some of the numbers, and I'll give the pick here towards the end. But I'm kind of feeling the Canadiens here. I'm feeling what they're feeling, and that's confidence. I really do believe it. They play. I don't know the answer to their starts. I think they counter-react, they attack, they got a good forecheck, they're a good 5-5 team. And they've been starting off good, and now they're back home with their fans, and I just expect them to have a pretty good start as well. But at the same time, I expect Vegas to also bring it here tonight. So it could be a high-scoring game. My feel right now is, and I don't think I'll talk myself out of this, is Habs in the over. Habs in the over 5 goals. Puck line, if you want to parlay that with like a couple different baseball picks, like minus 200 is not usually for me, but I think the Canadiens hang around in this game, and maybe they lose 4-3, maybe they lose 5-4. You just have a bit of a safety there, but for me, I think I'm going Habs and the over here. So I'm not going to spend too much time here on the show. It's kind of the same thoughts that I've had. I'm not overly surprised with how this series has gone. Vegas is really stingy. They don't give up a whole lot. They've had some slow starts. It's good for Montreal. Like even in this game, in the first game, it was 7-1 the high danger chances in the first period for the Habs, and then it was just Vegas the rest of the way. And this is very similar here. Like the Canadiens in the first period, I'm looking here at Natural Stat Trick. Love this site. Love that they have the series reports that you can take a look at, plus the individual games. But Canadiens first period 24-13, the shot attempts 64%. Corsi for this is 5-on-5, 10-3 the shots, 14-4 the scoring chances, 8-1 the high danger chances for the Habs. Pretty solid, right? The expected goal is 1.34. Vegas had 0.23. The expected goal percentage 85% for the Habs. It's pretty. That's pretty solid overall. On the day, 57%. So that's twice now in 2 games they've had the edge in expected goal for percentage at 5-on-5, despite really not doing a whole lot in the third period of either game. So it did turn around quite a bit. Vegas, especially in the second period, the scoring chances were 7-3, but the high danger chances were still tight, 3-2 in favor of Vegas. So what I think the Canadiens have done a good job of in terms of just the entire playoffs is boxing out. Their defense are mean. They haven't really turned a ton of pucks over, and Vegas' 4 of their 6 have been, face-off goals from the point. In fact, I think 4 of their 6 goals have been from their back end as well. Pietrangelo has the 2, and Theodore has the 1. Martinez and then Holden, I believe, is the other guy. So 5 goals, 5 of their 6 from defensemen here in this series. And now no Chandler Stevenson. I don't expect him to play. It seems like a day-to-day thing, and we'll get into what that means a little bit later on. But yeah, it's been strong starts for the Habs, and then Vegas kind of takes over, but the high danger chances finished in Montreal's favor, 15-9 for the game. The shots for 5-5 was Vegas, 29-21, scoring chances 24-20. So the Canadiens are doing a decent job of getting in those hard, tough areas inside the slot, making Fleury kick out a few rebounds and bounce them out. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't think I have too much to add else just looking at some of the numbers. So the big thing, I did come off the Canadiens. I didn't feel as great about them. It's even on the puck line. I even told FTN subs like minutes before. Doesn't look like Petry's playing. Vegas may be a strong play here. Hopefully nobody played that stupid play. But for Petry, it's just he's so valuable to this team. Just having one player out, like having him out, is to me the difference. I saw just a much better defensive squad in Game 2. It just meant less ice time for Gustafsson. John Merrill is absolutely lost. That guy gives me a ton of rage. I lose days off my life watching John Merrill play hockey. I tell you what, he had an awful game. I think the shot attempts when he was on the ice was 8-24, and he hardly played. 8-24 against. So Petry played 20 minutes, 46 seconds, no PK time. I think that was because of the hand. But he had some shots right off the hop. He was shooting pucks. He had a scoring chance early. He had the 51% Corsi 4, 80% with Stone on the ice, and 77% with Pacioretty on the ice. He played 6 minutes and 28 seconds against Pacioretty, and Pacioretty had 2 shot attempts. Actually, his line had 2 shot attempts, and 8-4 when Petry's on the ice. So, and 6 minutes against Stone. So that's 6 minutes against the top line, and only allowed 2 shot attempts. Telling you the Habs and Danault, what they're doing defensively has been pretty remarkable here. So pretty solid that he was on the ice against those 2 dogs, and those 2 beasts, man, only give up the 2 shot attempts. But for me today, it's simple. I really do like the shot props. You can find Pietrangelo 2.5, but I would just go to 3. Why not? What he's doing is crazy here. It's absurd, and he's just all over it. I mentioned it off the top. 25 shot attempts, 14 shots on goal, and 2 goals. Start with him. Shot props. 2.5, go to 3 plus money probably. Theodore would be next, 2.5 for me. Max Pacioretty 2.5, and you see him on Prize Picks 2.5. I think that's probably best odds possible. He may be juiced up a little bit. Suzuki 1.5, and then Caulfield 2.5. Those are the guys, but if you just want to limit it down to like 2 players here tonight, it would be the defenseman for Vegas, and then Suzuki's probably a little bit safer than Caulfield because he's been getting some shots. He's cleared in both games. He had 4 and then 2 in Game 2. I think, for Pacioretty, the shot attempts 15 and 3. I think that we're going to see a strong effort from that line in particular, and I think it's going to be Keegan Kolesar who's going to get an opportunity to play with those guys. He had 9 minutes with Pacioretty and Stone, and the shot attempts were 16-7 in favor of that line at 5-5. Nicholas Roy played 4 minutes with Stone and Pacioretty, but I think it's Kolesar who's the guy that's not that you want for a shot prop, but as we surface over to finish up here with Showdown, I mean, he's 2K, right? Pietrangelo is my guy. He's my captain. I've written up twice in Game 1 and Game 2 over at ftndaily.com on these videos. I've been talking about him at length. He's the guy for me. He's a little bit more expensive than Theodore. Theodore may come with a higher ownership. He's got a high ceiling as well. We saw it in Game 1. But the offense has really come from the back end. And it just has. And there's not a lot of forwards from Vegas I want to get in. Like Pacioretty's got a high ceiling, sure. If I'm going to attack it, I still think I'm going to go with line 2 and then get myself involved with Tuck. I've had the same core here for 2 games. It's been Pietrangelo as my captain, maybe Theodore. I know defensemen for captains are not great plays. Overall, they don't seem like it. But these guys just play so much. All the offenses come from the blue line. They're generating a ton of offense. I don't think it's going to change. They're getting bodies in front of Price, and that's how you score on him, through screens, side-to-side, defense passes, get him moving. That's where the goals have come from in this series. So Pietrangelo, Theodore, Price always in play. As a captain, I believe Kacharian. I wouldn't go Fleury. I don't think the shot attempts are really going to be there for him. He's hovering around that 24, 25. I mean, it's okay. He's a little bit safer. He gets the W for you, but Price is the higher ceiling. If he faces 30+, he gets 35 save bonus is always in play. But it's really just Pietrangelo, Theodore, and the one hab for me would be Toffoli, Caulfield, or Suzuki. I think you can rotate through 3 of them. I would go with Caulfield, is a bit cheaper, and then I would rank him Toffoli. Toffoli's on that point streak, and he's been scoring some goals here. When he goes, man, it seems like the Habs go too. Corey Perry, cheap, 4K. Another point there the other day. He's got 7 here in the playoffs. He's been great. Actually, he's got 8 in the playoffs, and a lot of them have come over his last 10 or 11 games. He's been solid, still in the first power play. Armia, $3,600. These guys are cheap. It will allow you to get up to the Marcia. So if you want to go Pietrangelo and Theodore or Pacioretty, you could do that by going Kolesar, Perry, Armia, getting those guys in there. I don't think I would go Gustafsson, but he is a guy, if you're playing multiple lineups, he's cheap on the blue line. He's still getting some of that power play time. And that's it. That's kind of my player pool. Alex Stuck is still in play. Man, he's dangerous off the rush. He plays on that third line. I think there's going to be a moment in this series where they just load up. It's possible. Like, Kolesar plays good. I was really impressed with him in game 2. Just he knows his role. He gets in there deep. He's kind of skilled. Pass first, getting the pucks to Pacioretty and Stone, gets in on the body. I think he may fit, but if Vegas loses this game here tonight by a couple goals and that line is quiet again, then we could see a situation where maybe Tuck plays a little bit of center. He's played it before. Maybe he plays in it. Like, if I'm DeBoer, I'm thinking it gives them some balance, and it's a bit of a mismatch. Get softer matchups for Tuck. But I would think about playing him at center with Stone and Pacioretty. Like, that would be completely dangerous. That may be too much for the Danault line to shut down. That's it, man. I don't think I have really anything else to add. I'm on the Habs here tonight. I'm on the Habs in the over. I think it's like a 4-3, 5-4 type game. I think we'll see some goals. And it's weird for me because, as I said before this series started, I felt unders the entire way. But I am leading over here. So Habs and the over 5. Alex Pietrangelo over 2.5 shots, over 3 shots. If you can find the 3, definitely a Prize Picks over 3. Theodore over 2.5. Suzuki over 1.5. I think we'll see some goals. So maybe a Marchessault goal prop, an assist prop, plus 225. William Karlsson, an assist prop. We've hit that in each of the first 2 games. He's around plus 155. That's the way that I would go here this evening. All right. I told Maddie it'd be about 10 minutes, about 20 minutes. I can continue to talk all day about hockey in this series, but the bottom line for me is that I think we need to stop counting out this Canadiens team. They've gotten better as the playoffs have gone on. They know their style. They play it. When they get a lead, they cramp things up. But I think today will be a wide open game. Buckle up. Let's do it. Let's see here on the fly. Maddie, sorry, I want to see if our guy Cam got back to us here. I know we're in a little discussion. Oh, he did. He says Vegas and OT. He's thinking 4-3 overtime. Wow, we're kind of on the same page there. I think 4-3 too, but I think the Habs get it done. That's the safety of the puck line. It's minus 200. Maybe you can parlay Habs puck line in there. I think we have to see a strong effort from Vegas tonight, but I believe Montreal will match it. I think tonight will be a fun game. All right, thanks as always for taking the time to hang out. Back on Sunday, I believe, here for Game 4 of this series. What I'm thinking here in the other series is Tampa and unders. I don't think we'll see a lot of goals. Vasilevsky's been great. Points got to 16 goals in his last 19 playoff games. He's been an absolute beast. Kucherov as well. It's hard to stop those guys. I usually find the score sheet, and then you got to deal with Vasilevsky. So I do believe still that series will go 6, but I have a lean to Tampa and the under as well. Just so dominant. All right, enjoy. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.